Aklas Pasimatymas laida kurianti ryšius. Laidą rengia Automoto Group. Dalinai remia medijų rėmimo fondas ir Telija, kad kiekvienas ryšys būtų tikras. Telija įdomiau, tik gyvenimas visiems.
Could you please introduce yourself to our audience and tell what makes your life special for you yourself?
So I'm Amos Miller. Today I'm the CEO and founder of Glidance, the company that and the work that we're doing, which we will talk about in a few moments. My background is in AI, computer science, engineering. I've been in that field since I was a very young kid. I started way back in the early 80s playing with computers and building things, and I've always been fascinated by computers and advancements in technology. And I'm also blind. I lost my sight in my early 20s from retinitis pigmentosa. So I've always been fascinated by ways that we can use these kind of technologies to improve our own lives.
Amos, so you are the person who has experienced both sides, because myself, I cannot compare these two states, what it means to walk around, get around seeing, and what it means. I know only what it means to get around without vision. So how would you compare, and what was most challenging when you faced this change in your life?
So it was very gradual for me. I mean, at first it was in the dark that I couldn't see, and then later I had to be very careful because I would bump into things, probably over a period of 10 years or so, that I lost my ability to get around independently. I think the main challenge initially was to just acknowledge that I need more help. I used to bump a lot and hurt, and people used to think I'm drunk or high or something like that because I'd walk very slowly. And then eventually I got mobility training and learned to use the cane, which was a significant improvement. It was very hard in the beginning. I was in university and I had to run between classes, so I ended up choosing very few classes or classes that are very close together so that I can get from one class to another, and those are the kind of I think challenges that we have to work through as we transition from one phase in our sight to another. Yeah, and I mean, and a lot of those experiences have also then led to my thinking about how we can use technology to help with that. I did eventually learn to use a guide dog as well, and I've used a guide dog for the majority of my adult life.
Only after meeting you and having a conversation with you, I realized that really there are people who orientate themselves using the white cane, and there are people who orientate themselves using the guide dog. In my country, in Lithuania, the guide dogs only start to appear in the panel of choices here. So could you please tell us
only recently,
also,
you mean?
Yes, only recently, because in our country there's no even school yet for dogs.
Yeah.
Some institutions have started this type of work. So could you tell us, where did you grow up, and how did you choose? What made you choose guide dog, not the white cane?
You know, each one of us goes through their own journey. For me, it was different in the way that I grew up actually on a kibbutz in the north of Israel, and like I said, I learned how to use the cane, and I would navigate with the cane very, very carefully, and sometimes I just wouldn't take it with me as well. And I had a gentleman who was kind of my ally. He was sort of a teacher, not really a teacher, more of a coach. Who helped me as I was transitioning into blindness. And much of that, I would say, in hindsight, I didn't really quite appreciate what he was doing at the time. And he's the one that actually suggested that I go and try the use of a guide dog. And for me, it was, I didn't know a lot. I didn't know any blind people at the time. I didn't know other experiences. What I did know is that I was very much mixing the use of the cane. Sometimes I used it, sometimes I didn't. And I had the opportunity to try using a dog and work with the trainer of the dog, and it very quickly became to me very clear that this solution for me would just enable me to move faster, navigate faster, and a little bit less stressful. But of course it comes with the responsibility of looking after the dog. So it's a full package.
Well, it's really very important aspect. I mean, that the speed of movement and the freedom, right? The cane empowers you, of course, to feel 1 meter in front of you, but you also can feel it yourself while being guided by the guide dog. It means to trust yourself and, of course, to feel the environment still, in some other senses, but in echolocation sense and so on.
I mean, I think we talked about it, and I think one of the things, right, that a blind person who's grown up blind and grew up using the cane and so on, you can almost see the environment. Like, you feel it. The echolocation and everything is so clear, and the cane really does what the cane is intended to do, which is to detect obstacles, to make some clicks, to allow you to feel. But you have a very, very high intensity of awareness of your surrounding while using the cane. And I know some blind people using the cane, they run down the street, right? Like, it's very, very incredibly effective. I think for me, having lost my sight later in life, it's taken a lot longer to kind of build that sense. And so for me, I just needed more help. I didn't have the flow that I needed to have in order to move more easily, if you like. I think the feeling is different. And like you say, when you use a guide dog, I would say that your awareness just lifts up to more about the surroundings and where you are, and less so about the every detail on the way. And that comes with benefits and disadvantages, right? Like, you don't know of every bump, but then you don't know about that bump, right? And I think that's where the difference comes.
This is how you searching for this change, searching for how to improve your life. You started a big project. So could you tell us, how did that start? How this idea came to your mind? And how did you find the team and convince this team to join you in such a great and huge project?
Yes, thank you, Emma. I mean, so I had the benefit of working at Microsoft for a number of years in accessibility, and some of your listeners might be familiar with Soundscape, which is a technology that I developed, which was very much about helping people, like what we talked earlier, helping a person build a richer awareness of their surroundings using sound. That was the other product I worked on. And what I realized while working on that technology is it's incredibly powerful for somebody to have greater awareness and orientation, but they need to be fairly confident when they're out and about using their white cane or their guide dog in order to benefit from that technology. And it turns out that a lot of people still need more help. In many ways, the experiences I had earlier on, the transition into blindness and into mobility, took me a long time. And I was really trying to think, if we had the best AI in the world that could guide us anywhere, how is it going to communicate with us in a way that it's going to actually help us deal with nuanced situations, navigating between planters and people and finding a specific door and getting through that door effectively and all of that. How do we make that possible? I played with different technologies, as you know, with audio, with haptics, with all kinds of ideas that we experimented with at Microsoft as well. And eventually I came to the realization or the conclusion that what we need is something that is actually physically connected to the ground and physically guides, which is a bit of a departure from how we've been thinking about it. We've always been thinking about wearables, something that you wear on the body or on the head or something like that. So from there, something that is physically connected to the ground and physically guides, that's how Glide was born. That's how the idea of a robot with two wheels on the ground, a long handle, it feels to some extent like you're holding the harness of a guide dog, but it actually behaves differently. The way that you use it is quite differently. That's sort of and I can talk a little bit more about the product, but really once I started testing the idea in early prototypes with people, I could see that there is really interest in this idea. I personally was fascinated by it myself. Then I started to talk to people, tested with people, check the interest, and once I saw that there is something there, I decided to go ahead and set up the company and look for amazing people to come help me do this.
Which stage is the product now? And a bit more, practical details to our listeners. How does it actually work? What it feels to walk around with this new device?
Yeah, so let me address the first question so everybody is clear. The product has been in development for about 2 years. We are in a great stage now, where we are in pretty advanced prototypes, pretty much the final version of the prototype that will go into manufacturing. And the software which creates all the magic is also coming together now. So it's still, I would say, early spring or summer of 2026 by the time people will be able to start receiving that device. So we're still about a year away, but we are making a lot of progress. Now, let me explain what it is so that people understand. Like I explained, it's first of all, it's designed to be a mobility aid, a primary mobility aid. You don't use that with the cane or the guide dog. It's a primary mobility aid. It has two wheels that are, if you hold it in your left hand, then the two wheels will be in front of your left leg, about a meter or just under a meter in distance. And there's a handle at 45 degrees, and you hold the handle at around your waist side, and you start to walk. And what happens when you begin to walk is the wheels begin to autonomously steer the way. So you, in effect, follow where the device is going. So if there's an obstacle in front of you, it's not going to inform you about that obstacle. It's not going to stop at the obstacle. It's going to steer you around the obstacle and then bring you back to the path. And so that's where there's a lot of similarity to the guide dog, which is you kind of walk in that flow. That's why we call it glide, because when you walk, we want you to feel like you're gliding. And so that's how it works. It does have a lot of ways. It has voice where it can tell you things. You can speak to it. Buttons to steer left and right. So if you want to turn to the right, you press the right button and the device will turn to the right. But of course, if there are obstacles or walls, it will not let you bump into anything. So you can drive where you want to go. And glide keeps you safe, avoiding obstacles, helping you detect line-of-sight targets like doors, escalators, and so on. And ultimately, we'll be connecting it to maps as well, where you can go from to actual point A to point B destinations.
Which type of surroundings, environments this device is designed to guide people at city environments, countrysides. Did you think about that with your team?
Fundamentally, it's designed to be with you wherever you go. It's so indoors, outdoors, city, country. I would say that there will be initially limitations, and we will be clearer on those limitations as we get closer to releasing the device, at least the initial version. It has pretty big wheels, as in they're about over 7 inches in diameter, which means that they roll over quite a lot, or cracks in the pavement and gravel path and surfaces that are not smooth, cobblestones and so on. They roll quite nicely. I would say that there's limits, right? If you're going on a hiking path with lots of stones and roots, that might be too much for Glide in its current design. I would say that there's 2 factors for people to be aware of. One is that we are also going to, once we release the devices, look at different types of wheels. The wheels will be replaceable by the user, so we may have other types of wheels for other terrains. And also the software will, over time, evolve and improve. You'll get continuous updates into your device, a lot like a Tesla vehicle that gets updated all the time. Glide will learn to deal and navigate in more and more complicated situations and scenarios, and every device will get those updates as they come. So on day one, it might be a little bit more limited, and then over time, you'll be able to get to more and more spaces.
Sounds amazing, especially having in mind that this is being developed by someone who really knows what we need, right? Who really knows what you really know what you need, what you expect from this device. Do you have any image? Sometimes when people ask me, Irma, is your dream to see whichever day? And I always answer to people that, no, I don't have such a dream, but I really have a dream to walk very freely, to not need to focus so much on the environment. I just have a dream to go straight forward without any plan and feel safe. So maybe you have some dream, I don't know, and what device would make you really feel happy? What do you expect personally? And then we can really hope that this expectation gives us really much, much, much more trust in this development, because we really know how it ends when someone who is not actually interested in the end result, how it ends.
Look, I mean, the freedom of movement, I think, is so fundamental to our sense of well-being, the ability to get out and just go somewhere, whether it's from your home to the shop or to visit a friend, or just in places that we're at, like if we are at work, just to walk down and meet somebody at a local cafe, or just to, like, this freedom of choice and to do so without hesitation. That's a word I come to often. Like, how often do I sit at home and I would do it, but am I hesitating, and do I limit what I end up doing because of that hesitation? And the hesitation could come from something very subconscious. It could come from a functional concern, like this road crossing that I don't like doing, or will I find the door of that building, or maybe I'm going to somewhere that I just feel a bit uncomfortable walking in, and those reasons can make me, or maybe I won't find the reception desk. I don't know, different reasons. And if we can pick at each one of those at a time and reduce those causes of anxiety, and also for people who are less confident. And I use a guide dog. I'm pretty confident, but I'm nowhere near as confident as some of the pro guide dog users who go everywhere with the dogs and run through airports like there's no tomorrow. I wish I could. I don't have that courage to do that. I am pretty reserved, and every time I can get help, I ask for it, and I just want to get. I think that we can overcome a lot of those fears, and be able to just walk somewhere, just walk through the airport without that hesitation or fear, or the need for courage. We don't have to be courageous all the time, and that's where I think these devices will play. Mm-hmm.
I thought now, Amos, that we are lucky that you don't have this courage, because you would not be interested in developing something that would help a lot of people, because people who don't have problems, they don't create. Would you agree with this statement?
I agree 100%. I would also say, again, my personal experience, I think, helps to motivate the creation of this, but also I think there's a lot of nuance that comes into figuring out how to do it in the right way. But at the same time, one of the things I've learned is that I can't just build for myself. And so one of the things that I have made it really a critical aspect of this work is to do it out in the open and put it in the hands of as many people as I can over time to see how other people react to it. That's why we are out doing demo days in different settings, and now we're starting to do testing with people outdoors in their home environments. And we talk to lots of people if people are interested to participate. We have a monthly Zoom call where we get lots and lots of questions, and we get emails and communicate with everybody, because I can't presume that our team and myself will think about everything at all. Like, we have to put it out into the real world as early as possible, and make sure that we solve the problems in the right way, and understand the problems that people are concerned about. And we learn from those moments. We learn a ton.
That's another brilliant strength of this development, this constant dialogue with the users who are waiting for this discovery. Approaching the final part of our talk, can you also mention, because I think this is also very important, how internationally this development is already taking place? I think you told us when we met in Ireland that team from different environments is working on this project.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty spread out. I mean, we're based in Seattle in the United States. That's where I'm talking from today, Seattle, Washington. But we have team members in Canada. We have one team member in Mexico City. We have a few in different places in the US, in LA, in Michigan, in Boston. And we even have a team member in Slovenia. AI person is working out of Slovenia. We have people in France working on the project. We even have somebody in Turkey for a period of time, in Germany. So yeah, we're pretty spread out, and I think it brings incredible joy to the team to have, there's a lot of diversity of opinions and a lot of diversity of experiences. We also have a blind developer on our team, and I'm always looking for other blind people to be part of the team. And whatever we can do to really reflect what the market and what the people's real life is going to be like will help us get things hopefully as close as we can to the right solution for everyone.
Does it take a lot of hours from your life? And if So when do you expect to return to some less active, less busy life?
My wife asks me the same question, but she's very supportive. You are right, Emma. I mean, I think that's something that we are sometimes not aware as how much goes into these kind of projects. It is a 24/7 commitment by the whole team, whether it's product development, fundraising, engagement with the community, but everybody is doing it with an incredible level of commitment, and that's something that I expect will go on for a couple more years now before we get to some kind of a steady state, and who knows what will happen by then.
Very much, Amos. We really expect to hear from you in the future and to have possibility to discuss this brilliant discovery further. Thank you very much for all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Emma, for coming to Ireland, to come to experience and to share your own experience with me. And also, I would love for folks who are interested to be involved to go to our website and register at glidance.io. Maybe you can share the link. But it's it's a way of keeping up to date and asking questions and staying involved and knowing our plans. We try to be as communicative as we possibly can.
Aklas Pasimatymas laida kurianti ryšius. Laidą rengia Automoto Group. Dalinai remia medijų rėmimo fondas ir Telia, kad kiekvienas ryšys būtų tikras. Telia įdomiau, tik gyvenimas visiems.